Serious race, Formula 1, Cup, Fuji Speedway, all Formula 1 cars, all the same. It will be very hard because they have the power of the pack, and I don't. I will try to just enjoy the rides and to see how far that takes me. First turn was awesome, as you can see. Just pushed a little bit through. I will try this again, this turns. Saw me braking, and of course that meant that bands didn't get the maximum speed that I could go, but it blocked the opponent that was slipstreaming me, which bumped me again, which resulted in additional speed, which is great. And as a result, I might not be fastest to that band, but the benefit is that I still have pole position, which is also a nice thing to have. Along this race, I will warn you, it will be very hard to maintain pole position, especially because they ride in the pack and they will use my slipstream. And also I'm quite stubborn that I don't allow them my slipstream that much, so I will normally already get out of the ideal line. But this time I try to be on the ideal line long before the bend starts. Why? That I have optimal access for turning. Because if I don't, they will pass me because I won't be able to clear that bend as I should. As you also saw probably is that this is quite a long race to complete. This bend I messed up because it's 20 rounds, which makes it extremely hard. So as you can see, I managed to work my way to the front of the pack. It's really hard to maintain here because they work as a pack, and you have to keep them off of you for many rounds, which is really irritating. Again, I'm clearing this because I don't want them to have too much drag. Now I'm approaching the ideal line again. Also just enjoy it, even if they overtake you again, and they probably will in this 20 laps race. I can try again to work myself up. So don't worry that much. You see that they're closing the gap now as a pack, so they work through the field using their superior aerodynamics as a group, because they don't have to break all the wind by themselves, and they can just go and enter the vacuum of the one in front of them, and then just switch places and let the other one pull those that have fallen behind again to higher speed, etc. etc. If you want to pass this green stuff that is not grass, it's better than just passing over the grass. Again, I think I did quite well this round. 2 seconds gap is not a small feat, I must say. And now you see that they already closed in an enormous amount, so I think I lost some there. Yeah, 1 entire second loss has been lost, which is a pity, but is also to be expected, as I mentioned before, and one should not worry that much about it. it's natural that they will overtake you again. And the longer it takes, of course the better it is. Because that means also if you overtake them, you have quite some chance to keep it up for a longer period of time, and therefore also probably to be able to clear the finish line perhaps as first. But you need to become first quite a bit to claim the championship title, of course. Now I messed up. I had some sand, which is a pity, of course. You see they are in front of me. I'll stay on the ideal line as much as possible. I don't care. Also now I don't care. What I did, I brake using the opponent this time for a bit. That is a good approach because one, that opponent will have some troubles clearing that bend because he gets additional speed that he didn't aim for. And two, you can brake yourself later or not, which means that you have additional time to catch up. All good things. This is bad. Also, as you saw, I already missed my apex. I just missed the entire band there. I had to go on the reserves. So now going off the ideal line to withhold a little bit of optimal airflow braking to my opponents. It's not that I don't like to have the ideal line there, which I should. Or perhaps I should just mind my own and just keep on the line. And let them pass me, and then when they do pass them again, that's it. It's not a bad thing when you have someone in front of you before you have to brake for your bend. As you saw there, of course you can block your ideal line and you have to, if you want to pass, it might be hard. But if you follow this technique, you will have a little bit easier way. So now I will just go for the ideal line, which is drawback that the opponents are closing in a lot faster than in the optimal conditions. But the benefit is that I have the optimal conditions when entering the bend. Was a little bit too much off the gas, which you might have guessed. This is a bad thing. A little bit too gentle because I was afraid that if I would push it too much I would run wide. That's a little bit too gentle there. It also happens sometimes, as you can see. So now I didn't take the ideal line because I already messed up. And then I tried to enter it at the best angle possible in the case of having as little as possible amount of distance to clear, if this helps. So I just tried to make a little bit of a shortcut there. What I did, I took a little bit more of the red and white stuff, just to have it that to slow some speed off, that I could be longer behind my opponent on the straight. And why would I like to do so? Because if I would pass him too early, he would too early be in my draft slipstream. It should help him to overtake me more easily. Silly thing that if you go a little bit slower in the beginning, you can make more speed in total. Just enjoy it. Try to feel the flow of the bands. I tried it in the last round, and I think even if you go for the ideal line in this case, the benefit of the little bit of those behind you. Silly thing is that. So it doesn't only benefit you when you're behind someone in front of you, but it also helps a little tiny bit when they are behind you. This is a funny thing, I know. This is not a nice way to clear that band, of course. And you see they really punish you for that small fault, and then you mess up your bands, etc. etc. This is good. This will help me clear this straight a lot faster. You saw my top speed the last time. Now you see you can go a lot faster when you're in the suction zone of the opponent in front of you, slipstreaming. So what does it mean if you're driving with faster cars and, for example, you have a slower car and you are able to successfully mitigate the slipstream? You can drive faster laps than with similarly slow opponents. This is a funny thing. Those faster opponents can pull you to a better, higher standard, faster level than those that are the same speed, because the maximum speed is already set in stone for your own aerodynamics and a little bit of slipstream, but faster cars, if you're not revving out, can really help you. See the difference when I'm not slipstreaming. As you see, I'm already in the 11th round, so over half of the race. Just try to enjoy it. Of course, someone could get nervous, especially because of the amount of time already invested and the troubles that you perhaps have to make it to a pole position. But if you do so, you one are not enjoying the race as you could, and two, you will probably suffer in your driving style because you're a little bit tense, not that relaxed. Yeah, please go ahead. No, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter. It's only the last turn. The last lap that could matter to some degree. But even then. If you fought a good fight and then some mishap happens and you finish not first, but for example second or third or fourth or even lower, of course it's a setback. Of course you didn't like that, but yeah, you fought a great fight. You cannot always win, you can attempt to, you should attempt to. Also, all this tire squeal that you see is not a good thing. So all the energy that's wasted in spinning the tires is not transferred to the roads. Traction and giving you fast lap times. But as I mentioned, all the cars are the same, so this results in extremely close racing. This was a nice way of clearing that bend, as you saw. Not excessive braking, not a lot of wheel spin, still some speed through the corner. And I didn't start at an excessively early point, as you might have noticed. It's also enormous benefits to give you some additional speed to that corner. I'm starting to feel the track a little bit more. I really hate this bend though. And why is it such a hateful or spiteful bend? It has a wall, which is at a peculiar angle, but also it has two things sticking out that you can get stuck behind. And if you get stuck, either by hitting the wall at a peculiar angle, hitting it straight on, so to say, or getting stuck behind those silly things that are blocking you if you have hit the wall, you make it extremely hard. So yeah, normally you need to reverse your car. That costs so much time. Not only are you in the troubles that you already lost a lot of speed and there were time by hitting a wall, but you lose a lot more because you cannot accelerate right on. You have to first reverse, which costs time, and then you have to start all over again from zero again. Hmm. 14th round. I'm glad it's not last. Otherwise he would have won, huh? He has the same color, so that helps. So this bend was completely opposite as it should have went, which has resulted in me being 9th now. So from 1st to 9th. Only a little amount of laps to go, so normally this could be quite stressful or not. Sure, now again pushing me to 9th, so you see, really big competition here. Also being a little bit hindered by the light on the left corner. But the car is in the middle, so this should not be that much of a bother, but it distracts a little bit, perhaps. Right? Already battled myself again to a 4th place. Can you afford it? Yes, you can. Go get it. Now too far away to be slipstreaming them, and they are, my opponents, are really slipstreaming me, so this is the worst of both worlds. For those that you just passed, taking advantage that you're slipstreaming them, and you cannot slipstream those that are in front of you. So it is really necessary to close the gap again before we reach the straights next time. Of course you can have the intention to do so, but you really have to. There's a difference. And if you don't, just fall back and fall back again. So there is no more room. So now I'm slipstreaming them. It helps me pass these two. I'm not in the slipstream of the one in front of me, which is a pity. The bend was quite okay, not really okay. Saw a lot of tire smoke, which is not a good thing. But the bed can also have a benefit. I only have to close one more gap. There's this little guy in front of me. I have some laps to do so I can just take my time. Because if I would be able to take in this lap, which I think I won't, perhaps in the straight, but not before that, you will come back anyway. So I get too much stress in your system for nothing. Yeah? And when I'm closing the gap, as I try to, also the entire pack is closing the gap. So I didn't close the gap, they are closing the gap on me. So as a result, they will overtake me, like he's doing there. But now he's already slowing a little bit down to make that corner entry better than I could. So again, just take only one more. And believe in your own skills. Of course it would be nice if you're in front and you don't have to work that hard anymore, but it also takes away a little bit of the experience. Whereas if you have to keep working really hard till the end, it feels like a real victory if you are victorious, and if you are not, you know that you worked hard. Real hard. This was a extremely poor band that I took. So onto the straights, no switching possibilities. Too bad. And perhaps you're asking yourself, how do you know that you're not switching? Because the speed, when I'm in first position, for example, and as you saw adjusting a little bit, was not different. So it's something like 367 kilometers an hour at the end of the straight before the braking point. Whereas when you are slipstreaming, you are able to go faster than it. If you're not able to go faster, then you're not having an additional benefit. For example, slipstreaming. We are now entering the final round, final lap, and now I would love to be on top position. So I'm not. It could very well be that because the gap is now widening instead of closing, that he is winning. It would be normal for him to win. It is already more than 3 seconds in front of me. Only one lap to go. So what I did, brake there, so my opponent overtook me, and then used him again to brake there. I was just checking if I could make it around a little bit faster that way, because I'm not closing in at all. This was a wrong decision. Can perhaps make it second place now. Yeah, second place. The other green car is in front of me. I'll just pause it because it's too long. So what it does now, it saves it where you stopped, and next time you can proceed here.